Love Beyond the Stars. It began on a night that felt alive, a night when silence had weight, and the air itself seemed to wait for something to happen. No wind, no sound, just the echo of the universe holding its breath. Then the sky tore open. A streak of blinding white fire cut through the darkness, splitting clouds like paper. It wasn't a meteor. It was too controlled, too deliberate. The light screamed as it fell, shaking the valley beneath it. And then, silence again. I was there, not because I was meant to be, but because I couldn't sleep. They called me a physicist, but that night, I was just a man chasing a falling star. When I reached the crash site, the earth was steaming, the air humming with static. At the center of a crater lay something smooth, metallic, pulsing faintly, like a heartbeat. A capsule, half buried in molten soil. The military arrived minutes later, black trucks, searchlights, men with no names. They pushed me back, shouting commands I didn't hear, but my eyes were fixed on that capsule. Through a crack in its surface, I saw movement. Someone was inside. I should have left. But when the light flickered again, I heard it. A low, rhythmic sound. Not mechanical, organic. It was the sound of a heartbeat, synchronized with mine. When the soldiers pried the capsule open, a rush of pale light flooded the night. Inside, curled like a sleeping child, was a figure. Not human, not entirely. Skin like translucent glass, veins glowing faint blue, eyes closed, breath shallow. And yet, she was beautiful. Before anyone could react, the light dimmed, her body went still, and the soldiers shouted for containment. Something inside me moved faster than reason. I stepped forward, tore off my mask, and pressed my hand to her chest. A pulse answered mine. One beat, then another. Her eyes opened, and for a moment, just a moment, I forgot what it meant to be human.
They said she had no pulse, but I knew better. I felt it, faint, uneven, trembling like a lost rhythm searching for home. They took her to the military lab, calling her the entity. To them, she was a specimen. To me, she was a question that science could not ask. I waited until the lights dimmed, until the guards stopped caring about the man they called a civilian witness. Then I stole her. I don't remember driving. Only the glow from her skin lighting the car in shades of silver and blue, the hum of her breath syncing with the engine. When I reached my home, I laid her on the floor, wrapped her in my blanket. For hours, she didn't move, but every few minutes, a soft pulse would ripple through her chest, and I'd feel it in mine. She opened her eyes before dawn. They weren't eyes like ours. They held no pupil, no color, just light, swirling and shifting like a nebula trapped behind glass. She looked at me, not with confusion, not fear, just knowing. "Can you hear me?" I asked. No answer. But something else happened. A vibration, faint and rhythmic, echoing through the room. The heart monitor beside her flickered to life on its own, matching my pulse. I felt a wave of heat behind my ribs, like my own body was responding to hers. I turned off the monitor and the sound stopped. I whispered, "You can understand me, can't you?" Her gaze softened. Then, she lifted her hand, trembling, and placed it against my chest. My heart skipped. Hers followed. Two rhythms separated by silence, now finding each other. That's when I gave her a name. "Lyra," I said quietly. You'll be Lyra. Her lips parted slightly. No words, no voice, but her light pulsed once, softly. A heartbeat in answer. And I realized something I couldn't explain. She didn't need to speak. She could feel me. That night, as she slept, I couldn't. Because every time I closed my eyes, I saw stars moving. Not in the sky, but inside her. And in that silence between heartbeats, I began to fear something strange. That maybe she wasn't the one who had fallen. Maybe I was.
Days passed in fragments of silence and pulse. Lyra never spoke, but her presence filled the house like music without sound, haunting, fragile, beautiful. I tried to understand her. I wired sensors to her wrists, her temples, her chest, every pulse mapped in real time, glowing across my screens. But what I saw didn't belong to human biology. Her heartbeat wasn't constant. It changed shape. Sometimes it spiked in harmonic waves, like a song written in light. Other times it stilled entirely, hovering at the edge of nothing. I ran the data through every frequency model I knew. And then, at 3:17 a.m., I heard it. Through the static, her pulse became sound, a low, trembling hum that grew into something almost like a voice. "Lyra?" I whispered. The hum flickered. Then, like the rhythm of a song forgotten by time, it aligned with my own heartbeat. I pressed my hand to her chest. The monitor spiked, and suddenly the room filled with light, soft, golden, living. And in that light, I felt a whisper that wasn't sound at all, but thought. "You feel." I froze. It wasn't English. It wasn't any language. It was rhythm, pulse, and energy forming meaning inside my head. She looked at me with those impossible eyes, and the light beneath her skin shifted from cold silver to warm amber. Emotion. I stumbled back, overwhelmed. "You can communicate?" Her glow dimmed, then brightened again. "Yes." The realization shook me more than any scientific discovery ever could. I wasn't observing her. I was connected to her. Every spike on the screen wasn't just data, it was emotion. But emotion was dangerous, because the more I felt her, the weaker she seemed to become. Each time our pulses synchronized, her body flickered, as if she were draining herself to reach me. I should have stopped. I should have called for help. But I didn't. Because when she looked at me, for the first time, she smiled. Not mechanically, not awkwardly, a real human smile. And I forgot every warning that ever lived in my head. Then, the lights in my lab dimmed, the monitors flickered. An encrypted signal appeared across my main screen. Unauthorized energy surge detected. Location traced. I turned to Lyra. Her glow faded. Fear, a purely human emotion, spread across her face. Outside, engines roared. Searchlights cut through the windows. The military had found us. And as I reached for her hand, she whispered inside my mind again, "They will take the light." But all I could think was this: I wasn't about to let them.
The night swallowed us whole. Engines roared behind, the horizon flashing with red lights and the hum of search drones. I drove with no headlights, guided only by instinct, and by the faint glow of her light beside me. Lyra sat silent, her gaze fixed on the darkness beyond the windshield. Every few seconds, her pulse flickered, faint but steady, matching mine. We didn't speak, but in that silence there was something louder than words, a promise, a fear, an understanding. By dawn, we reached the mountains. The old observatory stood like a fossil of forgotten science, broken dome, cracked mirrors, a skeleton of curiosity left to rot. I used to work there before funding ran out. It felt poetic to hide where humanity had once searched for the unknown. Inside, dust swirled through broken beams of light. Lyra walked slowly, her bare feet silent on the cold floor. When she touched the wall, faint trails of blue light followed her fingertips, like she was leaving behind fragments of a star. I set down my bag and turned to her. "We'll be safe here," I said, though I didn't believe it. Her eyes shifted toward me, full of something I couldn't name. She stepped closer, her light pulsing softly, once, twice, in rhythm with my breath. Then, without a word, she pressed her hand to my chest again. The world faded. I wasn't in the observatory anymore. I was floating in darkness, no ground, no sound, just an endless expanse filled with shimmering lights. Planets, nebulas, fragments of memory spun around me. And in the center stood Lyra, her form now radiant, her eyes filled with galaxies. "My world," her voice echoed inside my skull. "The heart of light, broken." Images flooded through me, a dying sun, cities made of crystal, oceans of pure energy. Her people, fading. Their last hope, a signal sent across the void, searching for resonance, for life that could sustain their kind. Searching for us. Then she showed me something else, her ship, crashing through Earth's atmosphere, burning, tearing apart. And then, me, standing beneath the sky, watching her fall. "You heard me," she said inside my mind. "You felt my call." I couldn't breathe. "You're saying I was meant to find you?" Her light dimmed slightly. "Not meant. Chosen." When the vision faded, I was back in the observatory, trembling, breathless. Lyra knelt in front of me, her hand still on my chest. "I saw it. Your world, it's dying." She nodded. The glow beneath her skin shimmered, sadness or something deeper. I reached out, touched her face. "You don't have to go back," I said. "Stay here. Stay with me." For a moment her light steadied, calm, warm, almost human. Then her pulse slowed, slower, slower. "Stay," she echoed faintly in my mind. I thought she agreed, until the observatory windows lit up with red beams. Search drones hovered outside. Lyra's light flared, not fear this time, but defiance. I grabbed her hand. "We run again!" But she didn't move. Her eyes were fixed on the sky, where a single star pulsed brighter than the rest. "They have come," she whispered. The drones weren't military. They were hers. And for the first time, I couldn't tell if that was salvation or the end.
They found us at dawn. No warning, no sound. Just a sudden blinding flash and then silence. When I opened my eyes, the sky was gone. The observatory lay in ruins. Dust floated in the air like falling stars. And she, Lyra, was on her knees, surrounded by men in black suits and metallic masks, their weapons humming with pale blue light. I tried to reach her, but my arms wouldn't move. My body felt heavy, paralyzed. A sharp electric ring echoed in my skull, then darkness again. When I woke, I was inside a glass chamber. Cold air hissed through vents above me, and white light burned everything sterile. Beyond the transparent walls, I could see her, Lyra, suspended in a containment field, light pulsing weakly under her skin. Her glow was fading. A voice broke the silence. "Dr. Hale, You found her, didn't you? It was Director Marin, the head of Astra Division, my former mentor. He stepped closer, his reflection slicing across the glass. I warned you about chasing ghosts, but you had to make it personal. My throat burned. You're killing her! He smiled faintly. Killing? No, studying. She's not human, Hale. She's energy wrapped in flesh. And if her kind are out there, we need to understand how they work before they decide we're a threat. Or before you decide to weaponize her, I spat. He didn't deny it. Instead, he turned toward Lyra's chamber. Her light flickered in response, dimming like a dying ember. Do you know what's fascinating? When we isolate her energy signature, it resonates with you. Your neural patterns light up as if she's inside your head. I looked at Lyra horrified. Her eyes opened faintly, glowing through the glass. I felt a whisper inside my mind. They want the heart. Her voice trembled like static. I pressed my hand to the glass. Lyra, stay with me. Don't let them take it. She shook her head weakly. They already have. Marin noticed the exchange. He turned toward me, eyes cold. Your connection to her makes you valuable, Hale. You'll help us extract the source. I'll die first, I said. He smirked. That can be arranged. He left the room. The lights dimmed. Only the hum of machines remained, and her faint pulse across the glass. Then something changed. Her light flickered erratically, and I heard her voice again, not in my ears, but deep inside me. I can open the field, but you must trust me. The glass around her began to vibrate. Sparks crawled along its surface. The air grew warmer, humming with pressure. They took my core, but they don't understand. It needs emotion to awaken. I didn't understand. Emotion? She said, love. The glass exploded. Energy surged through the lab, alarms screaming. I ran to her, but the moment I touched her, pain ripped through my body, every nerve burning. Her light burst into me, flooding every vein with fire and cold. And then I saw it, for a split second, her heart. Not flesh, not blood, but a sphere of living light, pulsing with impossible beauty. It was inside me now. The doors burst open. Soldiers rushed in. Lyra's form began to dissolve, her energy flowing into me completely. Find the others, she whispered. Finish what I couldn't. And then she was gone. I fell to my knees, gasping, hands glowing faintly blue. Her voice still echoed in my head, soft, fading, but alive. Outside, alarms continued. Marin's voice barked orders through the intercom. But I wasn't Hale anymore. I was something else, something not entirely human, and the light inside me wanted out.
Silence. That's all there was after the explosion. No alarms, no voices, just silence thick enough to drown in. When I opened my eyes, the world looked wrong. Colors bent around me, bending like they were alive. The air pulsed softly, breathing in rhythm with my heartbeat. I wasn't in the lab anymore. Or maybe I still was, but not the way it used to be. My hands glowed faintly, veins shining like threads of starlight under my skin. Every heartbeat carried a low hum, familiar yet alien. Her hum. Hale. Her voice came from everywhere and nowhere at once, a whisper in my skull, a vibration in my bones. You're safe. For now. Lyra? I whispered. My voice cracked, raw. You're inside me? Our essences merged. I couldn't let them destroy you, but the fusion is unstable. I stumbled forward, gripping the metal rail for balance. The world blurred. Walls, light, sound, everything bending in waves of white-blue distortion. What's happening to me? You're feeling the resonance. My core seeks harmony with your mind, but if you resist, it will consume you. A surge of heat shot through my chest, sharp and electric. Memories, not mine, flashed behind my eyes. Her world, her people, their final stand under a collapsing sun. 1,000 voices crying out, fading into silence. We called to your world, not to invade, to survive. I saw her people channeling light into crystal vessels, the hearts, energy cores meant to preserve consciousness beyond death, but one had gone rogue. One had broken the cycle. Her. She had chosen love over duty. I fell to my knees, clutching my chest as the light within me pulsed violently. Why me? Out of all the people on earth, why did you choose me? Because you listened. You looked at the stars and felt loneliness the same way we did. Her words cut deeper than any blade. But then came another voice, sharp, human, angry. Hail, step away from the wall. I turned. Marin stood in the shattered doorway, armed soldiers behind him. Their rifles were aimed at me, but none dared fire, because they could see it. The light beneath my skin, the faint shimmer around my body, the energy field that pulsed like a living star. Hail, Marin said slowly. You don't understand what's inside you. You're carrying a weapon powerful enough to end worlds. I met his gaze. She's not a weapon. His eyes darkened. Then prove it. Surrender. Lyra's voice echoed again, urgent. He wants the resonance core. If they extract it, I die, and so do you. A surge of heat shot through my again, brighter, wilder. The floor beneath my feet began to vibrate. The metal walls warped. I tried to control it, to focus, but the energy burst out like a solar flare, knocking everyone off their feet. The light shattered, sparks raining down. When the smoke cleared, the soldiers were gone, thrown back by the blast. Marin crawled to his feet, blood trickling down his temple, his expression twisted between awe and fear. You've become her, he said, a half-breed between man and God. I didn't answer. I just walked past him, the doors opening on their own as I approached. The air shimmered, responding to my thoughts. Outside, the city stretched below, dark towers, neon haze, and a single star burning bright above the horizon. Lyra's voice softened inside me. The others will come for the heart. You must find them first. And if I don't, I whispered, then your world will fall like mine did. The wind rushed past as I stepped into the night, light trailing from my hands like fading stardust. Somewhere in the distance, sirens wailed, but they already sounded far away. Because in that moment I understood, I wasn't just running, I was changing, and the light inside me was waking up.
Night had never been this bright. Every surface in the city shimmered faintly as I walked. Glass, metal, even the air itself reflected a pulse that matched my heartbeat. The light wasn't coming from the sky anymore. It was coming from me. Lyra's voice echoed inside my mind, calm but strained. The resonance grows stronger. The fusion is stabilizing. Feels more like it's burning, I said, gripping the edge of a lamppost that melted slightly under my touch. I was losing control again, every emotion translated into energy. You must learn balance, she whispered. My world fell because we didn't. I looked out over the skyline. Drones hovered in the distance, scanning the streets. Somewhere below, people screamed. The government had declared a state of emergency, claiming an extraterrestrial contagion had escaped. That contagion was me. The light within pulsed again, not just in my chest, but across the city. I felt it, energy currents running through wires, satellites, heartbeats. The whole world was suddenly connected, alive. And in that chaos, I sensed others. Lyra, I said slowly, I can feel them. The lost hearts, fragments of my kind scattered across your planet, some asleep, some not. Her voice trembled slightly on the last word. I followed the pole, down cracked streets, through flickering lights, into the ruins of an old communication tower. The pole grew stronger. Inside, a figure stood among shattered machinery, glowing faintly, like me, but darker, unstable. His eyes burned red instead of blue. Another one, I whispered. He smiled, a cold, human-like smirk. You must be the one who carries her. I can feel her song inside you. Who are you? I was her guardian once, before she betrayed her world to save yours. The air vibrated violently as his energy flared. You shouldn't have merged with her, human. You can't contain what you don't understand. Lyra's voice cut in, sharp with pain. Kale, stop. Please. His gaze darkened. You still speak through him. Pathetic. He raised his hand, energy gathering like lightning. I barely moved afore the blast hit, a shockwave throwing me across the room. Walls shattered, metal screamed, pain seared through me. But Lyra's voice rose inside, not words, just a pulse of pure feeling. Resistance. I pushed back, the light bursting from my chest in a blinding flare. When it cleared, Kale was on his knees, smoke rising from his body, but he was smiling. You're becoming what we feared, he said weakly. A bridge between the stars and the flesh. He reached out, pressing his glowing hand to the floor. The ground cracked, light spilling out like molten glass. They'll come for you now, the true ones, the elders. His body dissolved into pure light, scattering into the air. Lyra's voice was trembling. He's awakened the others. They will seek the heart. I stared at the spot where Kale had vanished. My hands were shaking, my breath uneven. I could still feel his presence, faint but echoing across the stars. Then we find them first, I said. No, Lyra whispered. You can't fight what's coming. Then what do we do? Silence. Then softly, you become it. The words hung in my mind, heavy as gravity itself. The light around me dimmed, condensing into my veins, my eyes, my breath. Somewhere deep inside, her presence merged closer. Not two beings anymore, but one. I looked up at the night sky. The stars were no longer distant. They were calling. And I, or we, were finally ready to answer.
The sky was no longer sky. It was alive, rippling like a vast ocean of light. Every star trembled, their glow pulsing in rhythm with the thing inside my chest. Lyra spoke within me, her voice calm, almost reverent. They've opened the passage. The elders are here. The air thickened, humming with a low frequency that made the earth vibrate. Above the horizon, rifts of silver tore through the clouds, massive gateways pouring energy into the atmosphere. Through one of them, they descended. Figures of pure radiance, neither flesh nor machine, their outlines constantly shifting like liquid light. The elders, Lyra's creators. My breath caught. They're beautiful and merciless, she whispered. They came to reclaim what I stole, the heart.
The city below erupted in chaos, sirens, screams, collapsing towers. Energy storms lashed across the skyline, tearing through power grids like paper. The world was unraveling. I stepped forward, feeling the ground hum beneath my feet. The light inside me responded, surging up my spine, wrapping around me like armor made of starlight. "Hail," Lyra said, her voice trembling. "If we face them, there's no turning back." "Then let's not turn back," I said. "We end this together." A beam of light struck the ground before us, and one of the elders emerged, towering, faceless, radiating power that bent the air around it. "Lyra of the heart, you defied the balance. You merged with the flawed species. Return what is ours." I felt Lyra's pulse surge inside me, a mixture of fear and defiance. "You call it balance, but it was stagnation. We created life and then caged it." The elder raised his hand. The air shattered like glass. A wave of energy rushed toward us. I braced myself. The ground cracked, dust lifting in slow motion. Instinct took over. I raised my hands, and the light inside me answered, a sphere of blue fire exploding outward, clashing with the elder's beam. The impact lit up the entire horizon. For a moment, everything was white. When the glare faded, the elder still stood, unharmed. Its voice rolled like thunder. "You are impure. You are anomaly." I felt Lyra's pain burning through me. "Then maybe the anomaly is what saves us." I unleashed everything. The resonance inside me screamed, the city shaking under the pressure. Energy poured out, not light, not fire, something beyond both. It hit the elder full force. The ground erupted, the sky tearing open wider. Through the chaos, I heard Lyra's voice again, fading but steady. "They can't destroy the heart, Hale, but they can destroy you. I'm not letting them. Then don't make me alone." Her presence flared, warmth, sorrow, love, and for the first time I felt her heartbeat inside mine. Two souls resonating perfectly, no longer separate. The light engulfed us both. The elders faltered, their forms distorting, fracturing under the pressure of our combined energy. Their voices rose, confusion, disbelief, fear. "It's impossible. Two consciousnesses as one." I opened my eyes, not human anymore, not alien, something in between. The light around me shifted into wings of pure energy. The ground floated beneath my feet. Lyra's final words echoed in my mind. "You are no longer Hale. You are Starborn." The explosion that followed silenced everything. No sound, no color, just endless white. When the light faded, the sky was clear again. The rifts had closed. The elders were gone. I hovered above the ruins of the city, faint blue sparks still trailing from my hands. And in the quiet that followed, I heard her one last time. "Live for both of us." Then silence. The stars above flickered gently, like they were breathing with me, and for the first time Earth felt small, but not alone.
Silence after the storm. That's what the end of the world sounds like. The city lay in ashes, not dead, just quiet, breathing in shallow whispers of wind. Smoke curled around broken towers, glowing faintly in the light of dawn. I stood on the edge of the old observatory, the same place where it all began. My reflection shimmered faintly in the cracked glass, eyes still glowing with the faint blue of her light. Lyra was gone, but she wasn't. You feel her too, don't you? I turned. Director Marin stood behind me, his uniform torn, face pale, eyes hollow. He wasn't the man he had been. Power had drained from him like blood from an open wound. I didn't answer. He stepped closer, wincing with every move. "Do you even know what you've done?" he asked quietly. "You've changed the frequency of the planet. Every signal, every pulse, it all resonates with you." I looked up at the sky. The stars shimmered differently now, closer, warmer. "She changed it," I said softly. "She changed me." Marin's voice cracked. "And what are you now?" I turned to him fully. "I don't know. Maybe hope." He gave a bitter laugh. "Hope doesn't rebuild cities." "No," I said, "but it keeps people alive long enough to try." He didn't reply. He just stared at the horizon, where the sun was rising behind the ruins, painting the sky in colors that had no name. I felt it again, faint, deep inside me, her heartbeat. Not a sound, not a voice, just warmth. I whispered, "Lyra." "I'm here," her voice echoed inside my mind. "Not as I was, but as part of everything." The wind carried her tone, soft and endless. "Every star you see now is connected. Every breath you take, every spark in the dark, it's me." Tears welled up, burning cold as they fell. "You said once your world died because you forgot balance. What about mine?" "Then promise me," she whispered, "don't repeat our mistake." I closed my eyes. The wind shifted, carrying light dust across the observatory floor. Each grain shimmered like stardust before fading away. When I opened my eyes again, Marin was gone. The city stretched below me, wounded but alive. And in the distance, I saw people emerging from the ruins, looking up at the glowing sky with awe instead of fear. I smiled faintly. Her light pulsed one last time within my chest, a soft, steady rhythm. Then it settled. Not gone. Home. I raised my hand toward the rising sun. A faint beam of blue light arced into the sky, disappearing into the clouds, and for a moment the heavens answered back, 1,000 stars flickering in perfect unison. "The stars remember love," she said, "and so will you." The wind fell silent. The world exhaled, and I walked down into the light.